we're here with the return mission team from their long mission in space, and we'd like to be able to ask them a few questions and learn some more about what happened with their mission. But first, I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves and tell me a little about your role with the team.
I am Xavier Holbert. I am the leader of the project of the mission to Hermes, mission Hermes, and I learned most of my skills at Harvard, and I specialize in I used to specialize in social studies, and I also took a camp course over my time there at Harvard, and yeah.
I'm Raquel. I am the documenter. I log data to NASA after every day, and if we find something interesting, and I manage the information that we proceed.
Make sure you guys all speak up. Those mics can be a little weak up there.
My name is Alexis, and I am the lead geologist of this project.
I'm Clarence, and I am how would you say it?
Linguist.
Linguist.
So, guys, can you tell me a little bit about the objectives of your mission? What did you set out to do in space?
Yeah, so what we set out to do was we set out to explore past Mars. Because we were using methyl fuel, and it's pretty durable. It holds up, and we are trying to go beyond Mars to see if we could actually find a planet that is, that was worth taking a look at, and that could possibly be home to other life.
So, how long did your mission last?
It lasted about 14 months.
14 months. It's a long time to spend in space. Everyone feeling okay, well adjusted to being back on Earth?
Yeah, the food in space was terrible. It wasn't that good.
Heard that from other missions in the past. What special tools did you have to use to capture the asteroid that you studied?
Right, yeah. Our lead engineer, Mo, he is not here right now, but he was using a special type of tractor beam that he was working on to the side with NASA. It was his own little side project, and it was pretty volatile in multiple situations we came across during our travels.
So, outside of that piece of equipment, can you guys tell us a little more about the spacecraft that you used on this mission?
Well, our spacecraft, it was named Hermes because it was very fast and it did have a lot of fuel, so it could travel for long distances. And it was metal. It was like most spacecrafts before it, and we specifically chose Hermes, the Greek god, because he's the messenger of the gods.
So, I understand that you guys landed on an asteroid and studied it some. What was this asteroid made of? What was its composition?
Well, the asteroid landed on us, actually. But it's a C-type asteroid, so it's made of clay and silicate.
So we're going to have to hear more about this asteroid landing on you in the future. Maybe you can expand a little bit on that. But what was the value of your mission? What do you think your mission contributed to science or humanity?
To science, it made first contact with things that weren't exactly ordinary.
So I'm going to have to stop here on our questions. You were struck by an asteroid, and now you're telling me that you made first contact, and we haven't heard about this yet? Please elaborate.
Right, yeah, so, first contact. I believe it was around 7 months into our travels. We had found this beautiful planet beyond Mars. Looked exactly like Earth, but it was different somehow. It felt off. So we had landed, and Mo was doing some little bit of repairs on the ship, refueling the ship, stuff like that. And me and Clarence decided to go check out some of the wildlife, see if we could find something. and we had actually found a message. So Clarence, using his skills, deciphered it and realized that people had been in similar situations to ours. And that gave us a bad feeling. And while that was happening, Raquel was documenting the entire process. And by the time we came back to the ship, stuff started to happen. It was rumbling, and the sky started glowing this really weird color of red. It was terrible. The weather was really windy, and then all of a sudden we hear this loud crash, and Mo and we were almost crushed by the asteroid that Raquel was studying along the way.
Wow, that's incredible. We're going to have to expand on this. First, Clarence, as the linguist, you were able to decipher a message on this planet? That's incredible. I'm glad that they had your skills there to really be able to dive into that. So, obviously, I was going to ask if you ran into anything unexpected or any unexpected challenges along the way, but tell me more about this asteroid struck your ship while you were on the planet. Tell me more, please. What happened next?
So, after the asteroid struck our ship, it actually split open into two, and we realized why people were in a similar situation to us. It's because, actually, I think Xavier knows more about that.
Yeah, so Raquel was right on the point. It cracked in two, and a substance came out of the asteroid, and it started to disintegrate every living thing on the planet, all the flowers, everything. The trees fell. Everything started to just decay rapidly. We're lucky that none of it got on the ship, because then it would have just cut the thing in two and we would have been stuck there. And Raquel managed to get, or actually no, Lexi managed to get a piece of the asteroid before it cracked, so we were lucky then.
So, Lexi, do you still have this piece of the asteroid? Are you going to be able to study this further now that you're back on Earth?
Probably.
Probably going to be some further studies into that. That's great. That's great. You have to come back in the future and tell us more about what you learned as the chief geologist that's studying this asteroid. So, how did you escape? How did you guys escape this planet?
Well, Mo, being the genius he was able to get our spacecraft back up running, and we were able to leave that certain planet and leave the traumatic memories behind. But we did not have enough fuel because we had to use one of them because we were too heavy to actually take flight, because Hermes was actually made to go to travel and not to take a piece of asteroid with us. So we ended up having to lose some of our fuel, and we ended up having to have someone bring fuel for us. So there was actually a rescue mission there.
I'm glad you all made it then off of this terrible ordeal. I have to ask, do you think that planet Earth, are we safe from what you guys experienced, or are we safe here today?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. And you guys might be shocked that I'm so calm about it, but truth is, I don't know. It's a very hard question to answer.
Thank you for your honesty there, at least. Hopefully NASA and other space organizations can take some precautions to help protect us from this phenomena in the future. And I had a lot of questions for you, but they seem so mundane after hearing this story. I was going to ask what implications you thought your future mission might have for the future of space exploration. So I mean, I guess continue. Tell me what you think needs to happen next in space.
I think that we should be scared of the unknown, because The unknown is something that people like to explore, and that's something I used to love to explore before the whole mission, but now it becomes scary to even think of exploring new places because I'm afraid of what lurks in the shadows or what lurks deep in space where, granted, you're all alone out there.
Well, Lovecraftian, one might say. Clarence, I'd like to ask you a question. While you were on this mission in space, this dangerous mission, what did you miss about your life on Earth?
Pets.
Pets, you missed your pets. I understand that. I would hate to leave my cats personally. Lexi, what did you miss most about your life on Earth while you were in space?
My sister.
Your sister, family is would be hard to leave behind for a long mission. What about the rest of you guys? What did you miss?
Buffalo Wild Wings, they had some pretty good ones. It was pretty good.
I would say I miss the feeling of comfort and being able to actually stop what I'm doing and not think that, oh, if I stop this, then the rest of my teammates might die. But yeah.
Wow. Soon, here in a moment, we're going to open this up to the press corps for questions. I'm sure they'll have a lot of them. We'll try to keep those within reason. But is there anything else you guys have to tell us about this, about what happened to you, about your experience before the press corps speaks?
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is that, whenever we figure out what to do with the piece of asteroid, I don't know, I hope that the remaining people, or I hope that, something doesn't come back to get what we took.
Well, I'm sure Lexi will be putting all of her skills to work analyzing that piece of asteroid, so you guys will know exactly what's going on there. Press corps, do you have any questions? I see one right back here.
As a journalist who's studied space for a long time, I want to say how deeply impressed I am with your camaraderie and your teamwork. The way that all of you are referring to other teammates and telling about what they did and lauding them for their contribution. It seems like you really came out of this a strong team. Despite the fear that you've experienced in space, would you as a team work together on a future project again?
Yeah, as long as it has nothing to do with big asteroids.
I would say I would love to work with them again, but it's always up to them if they want to work together.
What about you, Alexis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clarence, what about you? Very good.
A question right here, I believe.
Yes.
You said you found a planet. So had you categorized or even named the planet yet?
No. Granted, I think it's probably just granted, right now I think it's a hunk of dust right now, since it's probably not in the best shape.
In a previous interview with the chief geologist, Lexi here, she showed me an artistic rendering that she was working on this planet after the disaster started to strike. There was a lot of ashfall. Am I correct, Lexi?
Yeah.
I saw there was a lot of ashfall and volcanic activity going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing that knowledge with us.
You guys said that there was an object inside of the asteroid. Is the object identified yet?
We took an oath for silence.
It sounds like they're not going to be able to share any more details with you. From what I've heard from them, I'm thinking it kind of like it's something a little bit like the Spider-Man Venom relationship going on here.
Yes, you were in the far left.
When you saw this new planet, what were you feeling? Were you confused or excited or?
I was definitely confused. I thought it had been some type of hallucination because I wasn't exactly feeling good the previous day, or what I would assume was the previous day. but as we landed on the planet, it was vibrant and full of life, and it felt so close. It felt like home so much, and it was a breath of fresh air until everything started to go downhill. Yeah.
Here at this front table, we had another question, I believe. Justin.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yes, Lando.
Do you know what category, or do you have any thoughts of what you might find from the asteroid?
I don't know. We were all too busy gathering our thoughts to really dig inside of the thing, or dig inside of the piece we got. But I don't know. Lexi will get back to NASA on that one. Yes.
Is there information that you are withholding from us?
Yes. But that was because we took a vow of silence. Yes.
You've compared this planet to Earth. Did it have water on it? Did it have breathable air?
Yes, it did. Which was strange because it wasn't. I mean, it did have trees and things like that, so I guess it's not too surprising. Yes.
Do you know what percentage of oxygen was in the atmosphere?
We had no clue. We were too stunned to even think about that kind of stuff. We just kind of took a.
If I'm not mistaken, much of your exploration of this planet was really interrupted before you were able to take a lot of good data samples, right? By this strange occurrence.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it possible that the fragment of asteroid that you guys did collect might have some of this goo inside of it, and that might pose a danger to Earth?
Possibly, but I don't really we don't really understand what it is at the moment, so I don't know. I guess that's something we have to look forward to in the future, but right now I don't want to be anywhere near that rock.
Mr. Jago of the press corps?
Is it possible that this was all just a hallucination from some kind of liquid leaking out the ship and infecting?
I would say it's definitely possible because we don't actually have documentation of this planet yet, or visual representations other than drawings or artistic representations of what we thought it looked like. But I can promise you we're not aliens.
You do have a piece of asteroid that you returned, though, so that would seem to point to, even if the planet was perhaps, you at least did interact with an asteroid while you were out there.
Yes.
So other than the asteroid, you have no physical proof there was ever a planet?
Lexi did get some samples of well, she got rock samples and things like that, and they didn't match anything that she had seen on Earth. So.
But those were those destroyed though in the escape?
I believe we have at least one, but we're not allowed to talk further than that. Yes.
So when you first told this story to other people, did they like believe it, or did they think you were like crazy?
I think she is the one who should answer actually.
We weren't allowed to disclose this to people outside of NASA until this press conference.
Yeah, so what did the people of NASA say?
They did not believe it, but after we showed them the soil samples and the piece of asteroid, they accepted it for now.
Yes.
Yes, I'm an executive from America's favorite streaming platform, which will remain unnamed. I want to say that regardless of whether or not this really happened to you, you speak about it in such a lucid and eloquent way. I'm deeply impressed. And for your documentarian, were you able to write down some of this, and would you be interested in creating a piece of media, a film or a television series about this in the future?
I would say yes, because it was a very traumatic, yet I would talk about this trauma experience.
Absolutely, that's healthy. Would the rest of you be interested in being interviewed for this future TV series?
To be honest, all I want to do is go home, lay in my bed, don't want to think about it for now.
I understand.
But I suppose in the future, maybe, if, they allow us to at NASA. Yes, Lynn?
I thought almost everything at NASA was disclosed to the public, other than military.
So I'm going to try and sum this up in the best way as possible. Some things we cannot disclose for certain reasons, like fear, panic, stuff like that. Some things we cannot disclose because they're not yet fully able to make sense of what happened. But yeah.
I just received a call from the Department of Homeland Security, and they would like to say that this line of questioning is troublesome to them, and that if it continues, they may have to shut this down.
Yes.
Why did the people that came to give you more fuel not see the planet?
Well, to be honest, they thought we were crazy. At the point, we were all panicking. We were all in a panic state. We were all out of breath. We were all tired. We had bloodshot eyes.
I believe they were able to make you told me in an earlier interview that you were able to make it some distance from the point of this event before you needed to be refueled, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. I think we have time for one more question from the press corps.
Yes.
Did you guys visit like any other places except for the planet?
Did you visit any other places was the question.
We were able to visit Mars, but that had been a completely different mission to another team design, and they were actually in charge of documenting and exploring Mars. That was not our mission.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time and for sharing this incredible story with us today. I'm sure we will be hearing more from you in the future, and I really want to hear more about this sample that Alexis has. That hopefully she'll be able to analyze it and tell us more. And I'd like all four of you to be involved in future missions to help us figure out what happened here. I know the public is waiting to hear more. So thank you so much. Is there any final words you guys would like to leave us with before you exit today?
Well, I have one final thing to say. Don't think that before this moment I thought that nothing could go wrong. I thought that life was perfect. I was able to we were able to go past Mars. We had to make such successful breakthroughs, and I thought nothing could go wrong, and I was just excited about exploring, but now it's become a nightmare.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything to say? Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for all of your words to us today. Thank you, team.